Hey everyone, hopefully you're having a good day. My name's Andy, my channel's Finding Value. Today we're going to do our daily technical analysis update of commodities. We're going to look at the dollar, yields, precious metals, and commodities and ETFs that I follow. I'm going to give you my financial opinions. And if you guys need help with anything, check out, wrong side, finding-value.com. We do have a discount going on. It's called September for the coupon code. For the monthly membership, get 50% off. That is if you want to dive into the individual companies. We go into individual companies, and I give you what I think are the best picks with the most leverage to the upside. So, diving in here, let's take a look and see what's going on. We have continued strength in the dollar. Remember those big green candlesticks and the small red candlesticks. It still exhibits that on the right-hand side here. We do not see a reversal candlestick yet. Nothing to really basically reverse this move for the dollar. So the dollar looks incredibly strong. We've bounced off this support level here that we've basically bounced off of. Yields are also strong, and that's generally what we see. So how much more, how much further upside do we have on the dollar and on yields? Difficult to say. But right now, they look very, very good to continue to the upside. Yields are also holding together. This is the 2-year. It's above this support level going down there. Still holding on. And the 10-year and 30-year are just rocketing higher. Look at that, guys. So we did come back. We did bounce off this support line that I drew in a little while ago, and we're getting a good bounce here. The 30-year is also bouncing higher as well. So the strength in yields moving on up is still there. Coming down, looking at the TYX-TNX ratio. This is the ratio I look at to determine if the yield curve's inverted or not, and if precious metals are a good spot to be looking. Again, general rule of thumb, if you would have purchased precious metals in these low areas here, you would have done incredibly well. That's when the curve is inverted and the curve uninverts. Think of it as fear or a flight to safety or the yield curve dropping to some degree. Right now, we are very much inverted. And when I look at this, at least to me, it does look like we want to try to go higher. We've got these impulse kind of big green candlestick moves and not much selling pressure here. So what does that mean? How do I just decipher this for us? Well, it means that the curve's inverted and it's stuck. It's kind of stayed inverted overall, but it looks like there's some pulses that want to move this to the upside, which means I'm looking at the difference between these two interest rates and how they're moving against each other. So it makes me think that the curve wants to uninvert to some degree. We're not there yet, though. We're not there yet, and we've been bouncing sideways for a while here. This started bouncing in March of 2022. We've been down here for over a year, and it can stay down here for a good long period of time. So that's what we've got there. And maybe there's something in the market that will weaken the market where this does come back up. And if it does, gold and silver and platinum are going to run, in my opinion. Bond prices selling off still. This is the 20-year bond price. Yields higher, bond prices lower. And it looks like we're getting a pretty strong selling move lower. We've got a lot of support in here, a lot of support. Look at all that support back there. So I have a feeling that we're going to get some support in that box over here where bond prices may be resilient. It's not just going to be cutting through thin air. So gold, with that stronger dollar and stronger yields, gold doesn't very much like that. The curve did invert a little bit, not a ton. So we had a little bit of selling pressure today in gold. Again, I still think gold looks fantastic for a move higher. Based off of where we're located, we've got an inverted yield curve, and we're sitting on top of basically the pattern. And what gold's doing is it's like flying circles around the airport waiting to land. It's just hanging out, waiting for the right market conditions to basically take off and run. So that's what we're doing. We're just waiting for the right market conditions. We're primed, ready to go for that to occur for a big, huge run. It could be QE, it could be a decline in economic activity, which then lowers yields because we've got some sort of recession. Whatever it is, it's sitting here waiting for some sort of catalyst for it to move. Silver also pulling back, but this is squeezing up, guys. Here's your lows, they're coming up. Here's your highs, they're squeezing up. And we're sitting in a very particular spot here, which is basically on top of this blue trend line. We're just sitting on top of it, waiting for a launch to a land far, far, far away. I think we are going to rip it when this thing gets unleashed from its resistance area. I mean, it's just barely hanging on here, guys, and we could come back maybe to $23 or so, and that would be a great buy point for physical metal or maybe even some of these gold and silver mining companies. Platinum also heading a little bit lower. It gapped down this morning quite dramatically. Look at that gap here. This is the daily here. It's this gap here. It just gapped down right off the start. Boom. Hammered down, almost like somebody was trying to keep this thing down and controlled. XAU to gold ratio, this is also right on support. Let's back out a little bit. This is the support line I'm talking about. I just threw a line in there. It's somewhere in this general vicinity. It does look like it even may want to go lower, as weird as that is. Maybe we get a false breakdown and then start to rip. Big boys need to load up. I don't know. Something like that. The CRB index, still heading higher here. Still looks fantastic for a move higher. We've broken out of this consolidation here, and we've broken out to the upside. That, to me, looks fantastic for a big move to the upside. GDX, now this is the gold miners, down a little bit. GDXJ down, and also SILJ down. We have the market conditions are in the right location for this, but we haven't turned to move up yet. So we're in the right location for a long runway for gold and silver to go higher. We just haven't made the turn. And we've been waiting for this turn. We're seeing oil strengthen. We're seeing a lot of the energy stuff strengthen. I think this is going to be one good spot. Wherever this thing does end up, wherever it pulls back to, it's going to be a very good opportunity to load up. Crude oil up 1.34%. A little bit of selling pressure throughout the day with that wick at the top. We've been on fire here, so we might get a little bit of a pullback. We'll see how big that pullback is if we get one. Again, I'm not going to sell anything. But right now, we've got wave 1, wave 2, and then I think we're in wave 3 for crude oil. Looking good. Nat gas getting hammered today, down 6.37%. But again, nothing really to worry about. It's not a reversal candlestick. We've got support underneath us. Let's see what the next couple of days have. We are coming into the fall. The fall is between heating and cooling season, so we might see a little bit of weakness there. XOP, yeah, you know me, it is right at that neckline, guys. So again, this could be a very big move. We're basically right above the neckline, using it as support. The projected move on this is way up there compared to where we are today. So I think XOP looks excellent. OIH also looking very good. We've got a long runway ahead of us to break and really move to the upside. I think that we are, similar to this area here, and we're about to do something like that. That's what this area, the circle there, and I think we're going to go up. So I think that's what it kind of looks like, in my opinion. Sprout Physical Uranium Trust. There's the middle finger extending out to all the doubters. We did gap up in the morning, a little bit of selling pressure throughout the day. That's why it's a red candlestick. So if we were to look at this from that, we gapped higher in the morning, and then we kind of sold off throughout the day. It still looks good though. So what would I do? I wouldn't do anything. I just sit and wait. There is a possibility that this does pull back to some degree before heading higher. Get everybody to shake out. Get ready if there is a shakeout. We're going to get a lot of pullbacks probably in this move. So just get ready for it in case we get a pullback. So everything looks good. URA also looking good. We're in that fly zone. And again, I say there's the potential for a pullback, but it doesn't have to pull back. Just keep that in mind. This looks good. Looks very good. Here's your bullish engulfing. I was like, dude, this is going to rip higher. Boom, it's ripping higher. Strong candlestick today. It finished quite strong. I don't see any weakness here at the moment, and it looks like it's good to continue higher. You can see the fractal I overlaid, this fractal, the blue fractal that you see in the background here. I'll grab it. This guy here. Look how that overlays over what we've got here. It's basically the same fractal. And if you looked at the fractal, this was from CRK, Comstock Resources, a company that I grabbed from last bull market, just to show you how this traded throughout history. That is what potentially could come. This had a blow off top, so you could kind of cut this top off, but we could easily run at this pace up to 60, 70 bucks, something like that, in like 2-3 years. And we could really start to just work our way on higher and really start to move like we did similar to wave one. So, and again, this fractal doesn't have to be the same. There could be things that amplify this. So, again, be patient here is my advice, is just be patient. Uranium, ripping higher. Look at all the green army showing up. So the green army, it started here. We had slow selling, not much selling pressure here. And then we started working our way up. Big day today. It finished really strong, finished right towards the closing. Momentum to the upside. So if you were to look at the 5-day here, you can see that we gapped up, had a little flag pattern here, broke that, had another flag pattern, broke that, did a little retest. This could easily run to the upside. Notice that each of these patterns here, if you were to look, the big pattern there, you're basically jumping from step to step on these flag patterns. You see that? I call that the stair-stepping pattern. We're looking at this from a 5-minute chart. So it's little consolidation zones that we've got, and it's a stair-step pattern. So everything looks good. And I hope that momentum will continue, and it looks very strong for that to continue if it wants to. URNJ, look at that beast. Oh, man, look at that little beast. The juniors are outperforming 6.27% today. URNM was up about 4%. This is what we want to see. We want to see the juniors outperform. I want to see that because I put my money in URNJ over URNM. But looks good. Very strong, and hopefully this momentum can continue to the upside. Very strong day, finished right at its closing. Looks good. TAN, also looking good. It's got the small little red candlesticks. This looks like it wants to move higher to me. And that's what that little bloody nose on the weekly is, what it looks like. COPX, also just moving sideways in its channel, just bouncing back and forth. We've got lithium. Lithium strengthening a little bit today, up 0.8%. It's towards the bottom here. We're in a flag pattern. This will eventually break to the upside. We're still in the pattern. We do have a very big bullish candlestick here, and then not as much selling pressure. It looks like it's finally calming down in this flag or in this pennant formation, falling wedge, whatever you want to call it. REMX up 1.71%. This does look good to continue higher with the recent trading candlesticks. Overall, we're still in a big flag pattern. Still inside of it. S&P 500 selling off a little bit today. It still looks okay. We've broken the downtrend. Momentum's to the upside. Same with NASDAQ. Momentum to the upside. We'll see what happens over the next few days, weeks. Emerging markets doesn't like a strong dollar, stronger yields. Still consolidating sideways for emerging markets. Home builders. Home builders are looking a little weak here. We've got large selling pressure. Large selling pressure. Look at all the up days that we've got, and we've got another large selling pressure day today. Is there something in the markets where we're going to start to really sell off here? That is something I would look for in home builders. I know that sounds weird, and I know I'm a housing bull, but in the short term, maybe there's some weakness coming. And we can see it in the charts here with this large selling pressure candlesticks that we're seeing here. That's generally, it's like a hammer hitting this stock down with a lot of force. So something to watch here. We could go lower in home builders. Moo is also bearish engulfing, bearish engulfing, bearish engulfing. That looks like it wants to head lower in the short term. Weird thing is, longer term, this is a falling wedge that we're in, and we've broken out of the falling wedge. And we're kind of sitting on top of it. So maybe this pullback only gets us to 82, 81 bucks. Something on the lines of that. Copper's still holding strong. I don't know if this thing knows where it wants to go yet. I'll extend it on out, extend it on out. And you could extend it down here. You could say that this is somewhere in this range. Something on the lines of that is more of a better description of where we're at. So we might still be trying to figure out where we want to go with copper. Iron ore, this thing's already taken off, guys. Like I said, falling wedge, broken to the upside. Path of least resistance is higher. This is most likely going to be beneficial for anything that deals with iron ore. Steel companies, iron ore companies, maybe shipping companies. This is looking strong. Nickel also strengthening today. Again, I'm going to reserve my judgment here. We're looking for a turn. I don't see the big green army yet. There's a battle going on in this circle here. We're still seeing large selling pressure, but the buyers are also stepping in there. So I think that we're trying to put in a bottom somewhere where we're at for nickel. Aluminum down a little bit, down about 0.5%. This is a bearish engulfing. We could head down a little bit further to the downside, but I think it's trying to put in a bottom right where we're at. Baltic Dry Index up 1.7%. Again, I think we're going higher. Iron ore is going up. We've got the falling wedge. It would have broken out here and really pushed lower, but the buyers came in and pushed it back up. Makes me think we're going higher. Newcastle coal down a little bit, but again, we're basing out. I think we'll eventually work our way on higher with coal. So just be patient, and we're doing a return move here. This is your basing pattern, your breakout, and then your return move. So looks good. Bitcoin down. What I'll say here with Bitcoin is this fractal over here looks almost exactly the same as that fractal. Let's do a quick overlay real quick for you guys. This fractal here is what I'm talking about. This one looks very similar to this one here. You see how this fractal is? That's that, and it looks like that. Now we've basically really sold off here recently, right here. So I'm curious to see how this plays out. But the fractal looks looks similar here. This fractal and this fractal looks similar. This bottom looping pattern. Very interested to see if we're about to launch to the upside here. If we are, it makes me think that it is possible. Both Ethereum and here, I'll get this out of here. Both Ethereum and Bitcoin do have similar patterns like this. And where I think we're kind of located, if I were to guess, this portion is this portion over here. And if I were to put this guy here, it's more like this. More like that. So it's possible. Now, I don't know what's going to happen with 100% certainty. No one does. But if that is correct and Ethereum and Bitcoin were to take off, it means liquidity is coming into the system. It is also a reason of why gold and silver are sitting on top of their patterns as well. Those are all liquidity sensitive assets. And if gold and silver, if we punch it here, I think commodities are going to punch it too. So I don't know what Powell's going to do here. I don't know if this guy, because he's walking on a tightrope right now. If you raise rates to slow this all down, well, then your economy is going to get hit. Now, if your economy is going to get hit, and one of his mandates, unemployment and all that stuff, it's strong right now, but it could weaken. Again, we can watch the data. What's he going to do if it does weaken? I don't know. If he does anything to reverse rates to the downside, I mean, all this is just going to rip, guys. It's all going to rip. So I think he's in a pretty tough spot. Most everything looks really good. Obviously, uranium looking absolutely fantastic. Energy looks good. A lot of the commodities, they look pretty good. Iron ore looks like it's ready to rip to the upside. There isn't much that look really bad. We're still consolidating in precious metals. It doesn't look bad. It still looks good. So I would say everything, for the most part, looks really good. And again, I would be watching silver, be watching platinum for a turn, and even Ethereum and Bitcoin. They're kind of liquidity measurements. So give me a thumb up for the content. Subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to the website if you like. Again, we got that 50% discount coupon code going on called September. We do have a question and answer update coming up this weekend. It's 5 p.m. on Sunday, Mountain Standard Time. And I do release midweek updates, so look for that one tomorrow. And that's all I've got for today, guys. Hopefully you did well in the markets. We'll catch you next time. This is Finding Value.